why I'll never go car camping again. I used to love car camping. Pulling up to some secluded spot, leaving the world far behind, and just sleeping under the stars with the comfort of my car nearby. I thought it was the perfect balance of nature and security. But after what happened last summer, I'll never do it again. It started like any other trip. I had a favorite spot deep in the woods, a little off a forgotten road. It wasn't marked on any map, but I'd found it a couple of years ago and kept coming back for the peace it offered. No other campers, no noise, just the wind in the trees and the distant sound of a creek. That evening, I parked my car in the usual clearing, set up a small fire, and cooked dinner. The air was still, almost unnervingly quiet, but I chalked it up to being deeper in the woods than usual. As night fell, the temperature dropped fast, and a thick fog rolled in. It clung to the ground, crawling between the trees like something alive. Around midnight, I decided to turn in. I'd folded down the back seats of my car and laid out my sleeping bag. The windows were cracked just enough for fresh air, and I let the sounds of the night lull me to sleep. It couldn't have been more than an hour later when I woke up. At first, I wasn't sure what stirred me. The fire had died down, and the fog outside was even thicker now, pressing against the windows like it was trying to get in. But it wasn't the fog that made my skin crawl, it was the feeling of being watched. I tried to shake it off. I was in the middle of nowhere. Who would be out here? But the feeling wouldn't leave. I sat up and peered out the window, my breath fogging up the glass. At first, I saw nothing but darkness. Then, just at the edge of the trees, something moved. It was subtle, like a shadow gliding between the trunks. My heart skipped a beat. I told myself it was an animal, a deer, or maybe a stray dog. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. The way it moved, it wasn't natural. It was too smooth, too deliberate. I watched it for what felt like hours, my pulse pounding in my ears. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, it vanished into the trees. I tried to calm myself down, tried to rationalize it. Maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me. Maybe the fog was messing with my perception. But I didn't go back to sleep. I couldn't. I lay there wide-eyed, listening to every creak of the forest, every gust of wind. And that's when I heard it, a soft, scraping sound against the side of the car. I froze, my breath caught in my throat. The sound was slow, deliberate, like something or someone dragging a hand along the metal. I wanted to look to see what was out there, but fear rooted me in place. My body wouldn't listen to my brain's desperate commands to move. The scraping continued, circling the car. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure whatever was outside could hear it. I squeezed my eyes shut, hoping, praying it would stop. And then suddenly it did. The silence that followed was even worse. I lay there motionless, straining to hear anything. Footsteps, breathing, anything that would let me know if it was still out there. Minutes passed, then hours. I must have drifted off at some point, because the next thing I remember was waking up to the pale light of dawn filtering through the fog. For a brief moment, I thought maybe I had imagined the whole thing. Maybe it was just a nightmare. But then I saw the windows. Long, thin streaks of mud ran across the glass like something had been dragging its fingers along the outside of the car. The same streaks I'd heard in the dead of night. My stomach churned. I grabbed my things, threw them in the car, and sped out of there without even packing up properly. I didn't care. I just needed to get away. I haven't been back since. I don't know what was out there that night, and I don't want to know. But every time I close my eyes, I see those streaks on the window and feel that same gut-wrenching terror creeping up my spine. So, no, I'll never go car camping again. Not after that.